Welcome back.
Yes, we're back.
This is sort of a part two. Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So last video we were talking about geographic farming. We were talking about, what you needed to do and things of that nature. And a topic came up in that, or a thought came up in that when we were talking about sometimes we just lose that business to somebody that's outside the geo.
We don't even have a chance to compete for it.
Right.
That's what's so frustrating.
How does that occur?
That occurs because someone who we don't know where they are is doing a hell of a fine job in a relationship with a friend, client, someone in their sphere of influence, and they're managing to capture that business before anyone even knows there's an opportunity for business to be captured.
Which is extremely powerful.
Yes.
And I don't think that people realize how powerful that is. First of all, if that happens to you and you didn't get an opportunity and something popped up and you see it on the MLS, damn it, I didn't get it, and those people know me, next. It happens. That is part of the business. In developing a business long term, it's really about how many appointments am I going to get so I can get to the number I'm looking to get to. But I love this topic because this just happened. True story. Just got the phone call before we were coming up here. This is how it went. Listing appointment 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
Called up. Got referred over from such and such, went on the listing appointment, thought everything was good. They said, you know what? We're leaving for Japan for 2 weeks. So can we revisit this when we get back?
A lot can happen in 2 weeks.
You're absolutely right. A lot can happen. Got back from Japan 2 weeks later, phone call came in. Okay, we're ready to do something.
Nice.
Yep. Went over there, went on the listing appointment. They put the brakes on like there was no tomorrow. Literally thought was going to that listing appointment to actually secure that next steps, this and that, and missed the writing on the wall, didn't see it. Showed up, you know what, I don't want to use it as an excuse. This is true. They were jet lagged, and they just weren't in it, and you could see it in the presentation. And so we actually stopped the presentation and said, we need to finish this at a different time. You guys are just not present.
That's powerful. So,
phone call, next day. Wife and I were talking about it last night. We're going to get a second opinion from the geographic farmer in this area.
No way.
Dead serious. It was a nice email. We just so happened to get a postcard from them in the mail today, and my wife and I were talking about it, and this is a big decision for us. We should probably get a second
For all
opinion.
of those of you who don't put out a postcard, whether it be your farm or just around every sale you do, there's opportunity in those.
Yep.
Okay.
I said, shit. And it was funny because I was having the conversation, going back and forth. What did we miss? Should have closed, should have done this. Beating myself up. Michelle's beating herself up, and we're just going back and forth. It just is what it is. Mm-hmm. See what goes on. Have a conversation with them. When would you like us to follow up? There. Long story short, no, I can't make it short because I already made it long, so sorry. Anyway, honestly, just got a phone call from her while we were walking up these stairs, and she said, just left, secured the listing, signed it, we're moving on to the next.
Nice.
It was. It took 2 seconds to get a little bit more information, so tell me a little bit about what happened. The power of knowing people. So, geographic farmer had the advantage, obviously. So we thought. Mutual friend created a connection. So in all of their investigating and things of that nature, what had ended up happening was there was a mutual friend that they had a very good relationship with that knew Michelle, and that trumped the geographic farmer. So I bring this up because it goes to the point of that social and how powerful that is, and that we don't realize how powerful that is and how powerful that can be. And it wasn't so much the communication that happened between them and that other person. It was just the fact that there was a connection, that we had served that other client.
Well,
and if we were good enough for them and they were good friends, all of a sudden the trust factor went up. It alleviated something in there. And that was it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So very excited about that. But it goes to your point that we were talking about center of influence and that social, sometimes
It's powerful.
Yeah. And so for us, we didn't even realize it was social. It showed up and it became present later, but it is extremely powerful.
All right.
That's a drop mic or a mic drop, right? Is that what we call it?
The power of the SOI, and that's what we wanted to talk about, right? So making sure you manage that appropriately,
Right.
because that's where you're going to get those listings that make another listing agent go, damn, how did they get that listing?
Exactly.
Because it's a well cared for client in your SOI.
So we were on the right side of that one this time, but been on the wrong side, and it hurts. Get that. But again, I go back to my first piece of advice and just move on.
Yeah, you really don't know. I thought that was a smooth move. Someone who's willing to walk out and say, we can see this isn't the right time. We don't want to put you guys in that position. Why don't we reschedule? How about give you a couple of days and we'll come back? That shocked me a little that you said they were going to interview someone else, because that would have made me go, wow, these are not the people pressing us to the table and saying, sign this before we leave.
Right.
But they're kind of looking to take care of us.
It was timing.
Yeah.
It was timing. That postcard showed up at the right time. It was in the right place at the right time, and it threw a little bit of a wrench into the situation. But
So how do you take care of a sphere of influence? Got to have a CRM.
Oh.
Do we know of any great CRMs that might be coming around anytime soon? Anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone?
You're talking about KV Core. This was a plug for KV Core that we're introducing that to all the agents in our office here in the next next 30 days or so.
We'll be beginning to get on board in the next week to 2 weeks, and hopefully have it rolled out shortly thereafter.
By the time you see this podcast,
Possibly.
it'll more likely be rolled out already. So
awesome.
That's exciting. Yeah. But so let me ask you this, because we're talking CRMs. What CRM do you use now?
Booge.
Booge. Okay. So I use Chime. More important part of this whole thing is we both use a CRM.
And let me tell you, Booge is not the best CRM. And it's what you make of it, really.
Mm-hmm. It's what you make of any CRM. Here, I don't know. I always struggle because I get asked this question a lot. What CRM do you use, and what's the best one that's out there? We always answer the question, whatever one you use. But and again, we're going off on a tangent. So if you hit stop at this point, I get it. But I really think that we over analyze CRMs as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is it that I'm looking at for a CRM, and how Travis uses a CRM? I can't almost guarantee you. I can guarantee you we go into our CRMs completely differently and abstract or take information out of that completely different.
Most likely.
Note taker. All your notes go into your CRM.
Yes.
Yep. Bad habit. Mine is more about when should I follow up, very brief note of, okay, it's tagged of when it's going in next, and a very brief note in there, and I still rely on my mind way too much, or my brain as far as being able to remember way too much of, I'll remember, never fails, go back in, boop, what the heck am I talking about? What did I mean by that 3-sentence phrase?
3-word sentence?
Three-word phrase, I'm sorry. What did I mean by that? Whereas if I walked into Travis's, I could probably call his database and pick up right where he left off. That is how detailed his is. But other elements of it. Do you use the text feature in yours?
No.
Okay.
Looking forward to it, though.
Okay. I'm huge into that.
Yeah.
So again, I just emphasize or say this, it's not just the one that you're going to use. Don't overthink it, because we all use it differently.
Yes.
So.
And I think that when you look at a CRM, good CRMs like Chime or KV Core have hundreds, if not touching thousands, of different opportunities, actions, features, things that you can do with it.
Right.
If you ask me, how many do I use? I think what I use in Booge is probably countable on one hand, maybe two.
Well, that was the reason I didn't get into. When I got into this industry, there was one and only CRM top producer. That was the first one that I remember that came out.
Yeah.
And that thing was, I don't know the engineers that were behind that thing, but it had You could pull a kitchen sink out of that
Yeah,
thing.
you can run GE on
Yeah,
it.
and it was so daunting and overwhelming to me.
Well, I think that's the trouble with all of them, and kind of
Right.
why I mentioned that is I think mine's very effective. I'm tasks, I'm notes, phone log,
Right.
and the general information, right? Punching that in. I do use the calendar, and then I do use the campaign feature on Boosh,
Right.
which I really love putting campaigns out through there because I get so much feedback on those
Right.
as to who opened this, that, and the other. And so I'm really looking forward to that with KV Core. And now that KV Core is such a proven entity and so powerful, they're giving us nearly the whole package. So, I mean, we're getting, what do you guesstimate the value of KV Core on a monthly basis is of what we're going to get from Remax?
That's a loaded question because the product we're getting from them, that it's the equivalent of like a Boomtown or
Maybe like a
Real
grandish?
Geeks, and you probably
Yeah, so $1,000 a month is
Yeah.
what you'd pay for something like this. It's got a lot of power. But I'm looking to do some things like you said that I wasn't ready to do with Boosh, but if I get the right product, like texting, or if I can get my calls through there so that those log in, or I don't know, we'll see
Right.
what happens. But I'm very excited, and you guys should be too, about KV Core. So if you don't have a CRM, it's coming out. Take a look. Please get started. Please get started.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you have one and you're just not satisfied with it, take a look at KV Core because there's just huge value there.
Very exciting. I don't even know what day of the week it is, but happy whatever day of the week it is,
Yes.
whatever day you see this. My normal spiel, the click below, no, it's the comment below. I don't know where the bell is. I always hear this. I'm gonna have to talk to Anthony after this of exactly where the bell is, and I don't even know what the bell is, I'm sorry. But there's something about a bell so you can remind to get all this great content later on in the future. But do all those things for us. And if I'm making no sense and you're saying just hush up, put it in the comments.
See you soon.
Take care, guys.